Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, just hang in there. I promise at some point during the video, you'll receive some profound messages, but your girl has to go through the process of getting through her ADHD. If this is not your first time joining me, you already know the drill. You know how this works. Okay. Anywho, so welcome, guys. Just want to remind you I do have some workshops that I'm going to be teaching in the next couple weeks. If you'd like to learn my system, if you'd like to have your life personally benefit from the things I teach, you're going to want to check it out. Okay. Go to k33academy.com/store. That is my online academy. Yes. My hair is crazy today. It's crazy every day. Let's be real here. I asked what this. Oh my God. Sorry. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is push that manifestation into being. Okay, let me get cards ready. That is an intense energy of just like, I don't. No, I know what it is. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't. I don't know what the energy feels like to you, but it feels very specific to me. And yeah. Okay. So tomorrow, thank you for the reminder, Lindsay. Tomorrow, you still have a little bit of time. I'm going to be closing the link this evening. Tomorrow is the Abundance Amplifier Healing Meditation. Okay. Whew. Today is just intense. I don't know if maybe I'm being primed for tomorrow. Yo, do you know how intense it was? I gotta show you some shit. I gotta show you this, okay? This is how intense. This is how intense it is. This right here. This right there, and this, okay? No, y'all don't get to see any booty progress pics. I will say though, Marlene has a lovely shelf to sit on. She has a lovely shelf to sit on. And that's all we need to know. Yo, look. Look how intense this morning was. I mean, I didn't even want to work out today, if we're really going to be honest. I didn't want to work out, but look, bitches. 8 plates. The fudge with my little ass. Look at this shit. I was like, I'm gonna die. Let's die all the way today. I'm not even joking. So I did this to kind of prime myself. Like, girl, we're gonna work today. And then I was like, bitch, you can do more than this. And so I did. I slapped 8 plates on. I did 8 reps for those 8 plates. And I was like, can you do it again? And I was like, of course you can. And so I did it again. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I was like, no, bitch, you're not. So I added some more to it. And then I mean, I took out quite a few of my exercises. Look at this. 73,405. If I completed the last 2 exercises, 3 sets of 15, I would have bumped it over 80K. But I mean, you know, do we really need to? You know what I'm saying? Are you turning into HeMan or Shira? Oh, this. Hi, Lily. I was just telling my son earlier today. I was like, my body's turning into a CrossFit body. I think I need to slow down because I do want to be buff, but not like CrossFit buff. I don't want to be too big on my upper. I want to be balanced all the way through. That's all. That is all. So let's get started. I just had to share that. I was like, girl. Next week, we're aiming for 10 plates of 45. 10 plates of 45. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This is, I'm just saying, 44 is the new FU. I don't care what you say about age. I'm about to be 44. I love it. I'm not even ashamed. I've never felt so strong and so youthful in my life. I just really can't be bothered by people's bullshit. I'm saying, I can't be bothered by people's bullshit, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to reach that point in your life where not only do you feel like you're aging like fine wine, it feels like you're also the grapes still on the vine. Saying, yeah, I shouldn't do that too much because I might strain my ass. It still has not unclenched itself. It's going to be okay, though. It's going to be okay. All right. So push that manifestation into being. Woo. I wish I was a power lifter. If I could rehab my my iliosacral joint, sacroilio, I don't know. I fucking have dyslexia. I can't remember which order it goes in, but it's the joint that your hips attach to your. If I could just rehab that, then yeah, no, I could totally power lift. But until that gets rehabbed, I cannot deadlift more than I'm pretty sure I could deadlift about 200 pounds. I'm pretty sure I could do that safely. I just don't like to because I don't like the Smith machine. I think it's bullshit that you limit my range of motion. But I'm pretty sure I could deadlift about 200. Pretty sure of it. If I go to a different gym and they have barbells, free weight barbell type thingies, I'll let you know what I do. You know what? I'm thinking I could probably deadlift about 300, but I would need wrist straps because my grip is weak. That's what limits me is my grip. Pretty sure I could do about 300. All right, let's get started. Pushing that manifestation into being. Whew. Oh my God. Everything that's happened thus far has been preparing you to push something into manifestation, right? Right now, you or someone focused on you maybe, or maybe it's you. So a lot of things that are upside down. There's a lot of things that are upside down, and it's almost like okay, so hold up. So the winter was upside down. Someone feels super ungrounded. Someone feels like they don't have the capacity to change the trajectory of how things have happened. And if they don't get out of this mindset, I don't know if it's you or if it's someone who has this mindset towards you, it's going to continue until autumn, next autumn, right? So that definitely needs to be addressed, because if it's not addressed, it's going to create problems with a manifestation being pushed into being. For whoever this is that's experiencing this upside down state, they're unaware of the ways in which their fixation is fueling the continuation of this upside down posture, right? I don't know. It's a very, very intense energy. It's a very intense energy. It's like someone, I can't tell if it's you or if it's someone regarding you, like they're experiencing this regarding you, because the energy is so similar. The energy, the essence is so similar. Is this a mirror? Is this someone who serves as your mirror? Let's see. I can't tell. Michael says, base it on you. Like assess it for myself. Is that what you mean? I feel like that's a setup. I feel like that's a setup. I don't want to base it on me. I feel like I should just do a general reading for you guys, and that I should not be involved in whatever this is. I'm just saying I should not be involved in that. So whoever this is, either it's you or someone who's cross watching for you, they're in a space of incubation. They're accumulating a lot of energy. They're pushing something through. It's a lot of energy. And this energy is it's going to go towards some type of reconnection or connection, if this is someone that you haven't crossed paths yet. Yo, just chill. Just hide in there. You could be bushy in there. Yeah, no, this is definitely a union. I mean, I don't get any other message outside of this is someone who's in the process of incubation so that they can accrue enough energy to approach you in a proper manner, right? Proper approach. Push that manifestation into being. Can we like make this about career? um so for some of you, this doesn't apply to for some of you, this does not apply towards romance. You can take this in terms of the perfect job is not yet ready. The position has not yet been created. That's why you haven't found it yet. Or for others of you, excuse me, the perfect house, the perfect home is not yet available. And that's why you haven't come across it yet. There's so many different ways that you can take this. Michael's asking me, why am I presenting options that are not being presented? Because mind your own business, Mikey. Mind your own business. Okay, this is human matters. You're not human. No, Marlene. Don't involve don't insert yourself. Don't, because this is an argument brewing between Michael and myself. This is an argument that's brewing between Michaela over here and myself. Yes. All right. So, whatever this is, whatever is being presented potentially, it's something that you'll be very, very happy about. Whatever it is that you'll be very, very happy about, you have to make sure that you stay in a space of respecting your process. You cannot rush this. You cannot turn this into something that it isn't. You can't force things. None of that. You have to flow with it. Push that manifestation into being. Sometimes the most efficient way, uh, are you touching my lip? Because you're really going to piss me off if you're touching my lip. It feels like someone keeps going like this to my lip. Don't fucking touch my lips. I'm saying. It feels like for some, the only way to really get this manifestation into um, a state of fruition is by destabilizing you. Because let's face it, for many of us, let's be really real here. You're super non compliant with your own process. For some, I can't say I'm part of that group. You are more willing to be compliant with other people's processes than you are to be compliant with yourself. And maybe I am part of that group. I don't know. I like to think that I'm non-compliant, period. Oh, I am, huh? I'm compliant dependent on my compliance is contingent on who is asking me to comply. So you're probably going to experience some destabilization if you're not willing to comply with what your soul is telling you to do. What is your soul telling you to do? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But if you can't figure it out soon, uh, soul is going to try its darndest to destabilize you. I think for some of you, you've already experienced the destabilization. You've already experienced certain levels of hardship to get you to comply with what it's trying to get you to do. So, an example of this, um, compliance on a human level is a limitation, absolutely. Compliance on a soul level is liberation because your soul knows the levels you can reach, your human mind doesn't. So, when you comply on a human level, then yeah, you're absolutely limiting yourself. But again, are we speaking in human terms or is this a message from soul regarding soul matters? Because if we're going to see it from like a soul perspective, um, it becomes something ridiculously profound, you know? Not only is the universe infinite, so is soul. Soul is just this thing. Um, Soul is this thing that the human brain cannot wrap itself around. It just can't. It can't. It's too complex. The human brain was not designed to be able to quantify things in a multiverse manner. So, yeah, this is compliance in a multiverse manner. This is not just complying on a human level. For example, um, years ago, my soul told me that I needed to be publicly visible. And I felt like having a publicly viewable Facebook profile was enough. It was not enough. And then soul began to tell me that I needed to live stream, which that's very uncomfortable for me because I'm fucking awkward. I am. I don't care anymore. I'm awkward and I'm very aware of my awkward nature, but I'm also extremely profound in a way that I can't quantify. So, soul forced me. One thing led to another thing, led to another thing. And then Mikael over here decided to break the brakes of my RV, effectively stranding me in a parking lot for about 5 months. hmm And in that time, um, I began to comply more because really there's nothing left for me to do but comply with what soul is asking me to do, with the urges that soul presents to me in a way that my human brain can help me to better submit to the divine will of soul. And then again, one thing led to another, and here I am, serving my purpose deeper and deeper with every day that passes, falling into an intentional, deeper bow to the will of soul. See, the human will think, I'm not flexible. And so I can only bow to a certain degree. And then soul will tell you it's not low enough until your forehead touches the floor. Because at that point, you have ceased to resist the process that you're in. How can you be both compliant and infinite? You can't if you're dealing strictly in a soul manner and not soul human manner that deals with the duality. What's God? The everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. It is a totality. You can be everything and nothing, and all the different variations of that in the middle of those two extreme polarities. That's why you can't use philosophy and spiritual concepts to fully understand the gravity of your journey, the gravity of the profound nature of your soul, the fact that you are a totality and unaware of your total nature is the very thing that limits your ability to manifest what it is you need, what it is you want. You're still living in a space of or. You're either going to be compliant or you're going to be infinite. I exist in a space of and. I am infinite in my compliance because I don't need to understand what it is I'm complying to. I don't need to understand what that compliance will lead to. I just know this is what is asked of me. And so this is what I will do, with a full trust in soul, allowing soul to be the very shoulder that pushes that manifestation into being. You want to exist in a space that's limitless, you got to get rid of that dualistic nature, that dualistic mindset. There is no or, there is only and. I can fail and succeed all at the same time, simultaneously, synergistically. I can be profound and superficial in the same breath, using the same words. It depends on who's willing to receive it, how deep they're willing to allow those words to enter. It depends. It all depends on things that I cannot control and do not want to control. Why? I'm too busy allowing myself to bow deeper to the will of soul. Did you know that it's in the last couple inches, and for some, the last few millimeters before your forehead touches the floor, that you have the most resistance? Because um, that's when you are being stretched beyond what you are comfortable with. That's when most people will hold their breath. They will tense their muscles, fighting the very thing that you are being asked to allow yourself to sink deeper into. It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to learn yourself enough to know when it's taking it too far earlier. So I blasted my hamstrings, I blasted my glutes, I blasted my entire lower half and low back. Now, when I was done with that, I could feel all the micro tears in my quads. I could feel it in my calves. I could feel it through my entire lower half. So, what did I do? I went ahead and stretched until it released. No, I used my breath to allow me to find the spaces that would allow for me to sink deeper into it. And I continued doing that. If you practice yoga, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Allowing the breath to fully empty so you could sink deeper into that posture, that position. And I did that until my body told me that is where we can go. We cannot go further. How did I know this? Because my muscles started to twitch. Involuntary twitching. My muscle is letting me know, if you push me further, you will tear me. And so I held it there and I breathed through it. I gave myself time to experience that uncomfortable sensation. And when my muscle wouldn't stop twitching, I respected the current limitation that exists. Because really, sometimes you can push, and other times you have to understand you've taken it as far as you can go for now. You see, when you think that you've taken it as far as you can go and that's your limit, yeah, that's a human concept. I understand I can take it as far as I can go for now. And I give myself a moment. I can then check once again, how much further can I go? I mean, are you going to try and use human concepts and human limitations for something that's not human? Because that's going to really mess up your perception about yourself and what you're here to do. That's really going to mess you up. If you exist in a space of centeredness where you acknowledge the limitations of your human aspects and allow that acknowledgement to marry um, your awareness of the profound nature of your soul and its capacity to overcome any limitation set before you, you enter into a space of massive potentiality, massive potential loading, massive potential to bring to fruition the very things that you want and need. You can't have it overnight. And maybe that's part of what the human limitation is. This thinking that just because you believe it means that you will have it right then and there. No, not always. Not always. Not always. You got to start somewhere. You have to work through your debilitating disbelief in yourself. Do you realize that for certain things you have been afflicted with a debilitating disbelief? I used to operate there. Used to. I used to. Not anymore. I will take myself to the edge of what I know and then invite myself to bring my toes over that line. And as my toes cross the line, if I don't think I can do it, I know I can stand on tippy toes. And if my toes are over the line and I go on the tippy toes, that means I've completely crossed the line. Do you see how that little movement and that awareness of what you're capable of can cause you to enter into a whole different realm of existence? It doesn't have to be this thing where you didn't make it unless you can, you know, get both feet, including your heels, flat on the floor past the line. That is how you push yourself. That is how you bring into manifestation the very things that you struggle to accept you are capable of. So I should not be able to hip thrust. How much was that? Hold on. I should not be able to hip thrust 385 pounds. I have degenerated discs in my low back. About 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago at this point, I was told by a specialist, an orthopedic specialist, a surgeon, that I believe I was 25. I needed total knee replacement for both my knees before the end of the year. That's 19 years ago. That by the end of the year, I would not be able to walk. Can I quickly remind you? At the start of this live stream, I showed you that I worked on my lower half. The low back is part of that. I lifted over 73,000 pounds at over 40 with multiple degenerated discs in my low back and 2 needed double knee replacements. For the past 19 years, I should not have been able to walk anymore. Yet here I am doing whatever the fuck I want to do because you're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do. Your limitations are your own. Whether you're trying to project them onto me or not, those are yours. They're not mine. They are not mine. Now, did I get to that place of being able to lift that load overnight? No. No, I did not. No, I did not. It took me believing in my capacity, my capability, my potentiality to the degree that it overcame my fear of failure. But here's the thing, this is the most beautiful thing about working out and taking care of your physical form. It's in that muscle failure that you expose yourself to the potentiality of massive gains. It's in that failure. When you work a muscle to the point of failure, you have maximized that micro tearing that occurs within the fibers. When you allow yourself to take in what is necessary to rebuild that within the time frame that's necessary to rebuild those micro injuries, you experience hypertrophy. Y'all, I will say, your girl does not have dried apricots no more. We got a half-grown peach. I'm saying, you want something bad enough, you have to put in the effort to do it. You want to push that manifestation into being, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You know, as I was loading plates, I ran out of plates, 45-pound plates. I ran out. There was none left on the Smith machine I was using. So I had to walk across the gym to get 90 pounds worth. I'm not a very tall person. And you definitely will not look at me and be like, she can lift heavy. No, you'll be like, oh, she's so small and cute. Shut up. Sorry. Yeah, no. I went over to another area of the gym and I got a 45-pound plate in one hand, a 45-pound plate in the other hand. I walked my ass all nonchalant to my Smith machine. And you best believe every single person that I walked past was looking at me like, what the fuck is this little ass girl doing? And then they saw the machine I was working my way towards. And then they saw me slap on more plates. Everyone in that area, I saw them all pause like, what the fuck is she going to do? I'm going to do shit you won't believe. You will after you watch me do it, though. I don't have a build that tells people I can lift as heavy as I can. And the whole time I was doing that, the whole time I was loading the plates on, I'm like, I'm going to fucking hurt myself. I'm going to hurt myself doing this. I should take that off. And then you know what? At the very last second, I allowed that bar, the weight of the bar, to rest across my hips. Before I unlocked that bar, I lifted it in place. And I asked my knees, can you do this? Yes, bitch, we're doing it. And I did it. And I did it. By the time I got to 6, I was like, I don't think we can do this. I held that weight up, nearly 400 pounds sitting on my hips. I held it up and I said, you think you can't do it? Push out 2 more. And I did. And then I sat there and I was like, my ass, my ass. Yeah. And then I sat up and I told myself, see, you didn't hurt yourself. You didn't push it beyond what you could do. You didn't hurt yourself. You just proved to yourself how much more you have in you. I'm very lucky. Why am I lucky? Because whatever I don't believe, I have to prove to myself that I'm full of shit. That I'm full of shit, that those limitations are no longer my truth. You got to. Because if you don't, you know what happens? You stagnate and you stay there and you don't push into manifestation what it is you're trying to build for yourself. That's what happens. You want to know why your life has gone stagnant? Because you believe that's where you belong. You believe that is all you are capable of. Bull fucking shit. I tell you right now, that is bull fucking shit. That's bullshit. I come from a family that proves over and over and over what you believe in is what you are capable of. I'm gonna have a little braggy moment right now. My oldest son is fucking talented beyond talented. He should not be able to reach the levels of success that he has reached because he has no formal education. He's been homeschooled his whole life. He taught himself how to be a sound engineer, right? These are supposed to be hobbies, right? Not when you have a mom like me. Find what sets your soul on fire and do it passionately. Do it. Take it all the way. Take it all away. So he did. He's still in the process of taking it to where it should be, where it's worthy of him. You'd never guess if you talk to him because he's so humble. He is. He's very humble about the work he does. Yeah, no, quite a few of his tracks have millions of plays. Some of his work has been on a billboard in Times Square. I don't know about y'all, but not too many motherfuckers can accomplish that shit. Not too many people can accomplish that. He's gone to an industry event in a completely different state. He went to LA and he went to a listening party and it was a huge event and he was weirded out because people recognized him. I'm like, son, you're a big deal. You're a big fucking deal. You want to be a big deal? Then let yourself be a big deal. Be a big fucking deal and don't be apologetic about it. Don't allow yourself to believe that just because someone else couldn't accomplish what you want does not mean you can't either. Did you want to go with him? No, I don't want to go with him. I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to embarrass him. you know, like for real, I don't want to embarrass him. Yeah, no, my son has his own life. He does his own thing. I wouldn't ask to go with him. I wouldn't want to go with him just because um I don't want it to be a thing where he feels he has to exist within specific parameters so that his mother is not thinking some way about him. I understand the industry. I understand it. And I don't want to witness those things. I'm just saying, it's one of those things where I know at the age that he's at, I have done everything I can to help form him into the greatest expression of who he is destined to be. And it's at this point that he needs to do the rest of the work to further refine who he's going to choose to be for the rest of his life. I will still be there in the background to support, but that it's he's in control now. It's his life. He is in control. So that's the thing. You limit yourself by thinking you have to continue to operate within the parameters that society dictates. I don't need to go to events so I could be like, that's my kid. Like, no, that's his moment. That's his event. Let him do his thing. Right? Like, one of my cousins is, he's a really profound singer. And he was kind of putting effort into entering into the music industry. And, he started his family. So I guess he opted not to continue that journey into that industry. And this was years ago. we told him, we told my cousin about my son being a producer. And he started looking at things. And my cousin says to me, like, he's a big fucking deal. And I was like, really? Really? He goes, yeah. He has an entire following. He's a big fucking deal. Holy shit. And I was like, oh, that's good. I'm not going to look into his stuff. He deserves privacy, right? Like, I don't go in his room and go through his shit. I don't go through his phone. I don't, no, he deserves privacy. I trust my son. I trust him to make the best decisions he can possibly make for himself. So I'm not going to limit what he can manifest for himself. Do you live with someone over your shoulder? And therefore, it limits what you can do. You're afraid of what people will think as you are being witnessed doing the things that you are destined to do. So you tame it, right? You water it down because why? You don't want someone to see you in your most natural, most powerful state. I mean, families are notorious for having a dynamic that really, really limits who you can allow yourself to be in their presence. One of the most powerful things I was able to do for myself as I pushed what I needed to manifest into being was to release that dynamic, to let it go, to really allow myself to just be who I am, right? For a long time, I was very, very, um, I guess you could say, insecure about people not being able to accept me, people being basically offended with who I am. And it caused me to play specific roles, very limited roles within my own life. And I remember when I came back to California and my one family member who is like mad fucking toxic, um, he found out what I do for work, that I do exorcisms and stuff. And you know, he kind of pulled me aside in the kitchen. He's like, "You do exorcisms? What the fuck? That's so stupid." Maybe for you because you don't understand. I wouldn't expect a demon to understand the gravity of the work that I do. Yeah, and you know what's funny? Um, this is a relative who they consistently put other people down so that they can feel big and bad about what they do. What they do is what they do. It has nothing to do with what I do or what anyone else does. And this relative, um, it was a bit satisfying because at one point when my sibling began his heart failure journey, um, I went ahead and I created a GoFundMe to help with the cost of all his medications and, you know, his day-to-day life and all of that. And that relative has greatly criticized me and this specific sibling our entire lives, right? And then within, I think it was like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, all of you guys and also my siblings' own community, because he's a big deal as well. Um, you guys helped us to raise like $23,000 in 48 hours. I was like, what the like, holy shit. Oh my God, stop donating. Me and my brother, we're like so the same. And he was like, tell them to stop. And I was like, I can't. I can't. It still keeps coming in. He goes, no, man, people are. He didn't feel right accepting money because he knew people were struggling, which I felt the same way. And honestly, if that money was for me personally, I would have halted the whole thing. I would have shut off the whole GoFundMe. But because it wasn't for me, I couldn't do that. And it became this thing where that specific relative was like, "What?" And I distinctly remember a conversation that snippets of a conversation he was having with my husband because he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that that much was raised in 48 hours. And my husband, he said to this relative, "Yeah, a lot of people really love your sister. A lot of people love her." And then that relative understood the gravity of what they didn't understand. That I have aspects of me that they never seen because they didn't want to. That I have the capacity to do things that they never thought I could. And guess what? This is the most beautiful part. I never needed them to think I could. I never needed them to believe. I never needed them to validate or give me permission. I just had to do it for myself. So, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You're waiting for someone who doesn't believe in you, who has absolutely no capacity to believe in themselves. You're waiting for that person to believe in you. If they can't even believe in themselves, if they continue to adhere to the parameters set by the matrix itself, how could they ever grasp the gravity of your divinity and your purpose? How could they ever grasp that? They can't. They're incapable. And that is who you're waiting to give you permission. They're incapable. And if you continue to live your life based on other people's perceptions of your capacity, I think to this day, I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I'll check. I don't think any of my relatives actually even know what I do for work. They don't need to know. I don't think they grasp the gravity of what I am capable of. I think one sibling, or actually two of my siblings, are grasping it. Because I mean, me doing the work that I do and my brother having 7% heart function, you don't retrieve heart function. You don't get that back. Whatever it's at, that's what it's at. And you just have to try and keep it there for as long as possible, knowing that eventually it degrades. So 7% heart function, that's barely alive. End stage heart failure. You don't exit that. They were preparing him to begin the process of heart transplant. That was a solution. Heart transplant. That's the only viable solution. Yeah. Not when you work with me. I have the capacity to push into manifestation, into your reality, things that are necessary, as long as it's in alignment with what your soul is asking me to do. I can and will. He's not in heart failure anymore. All of that damage that they medically documented via echocardiogram, sonogram, ultrasound. I believe he also had multiple CTs, a whole bunch of very, very sensitive, very accurate medical diagnostics were done. And when he was ready, when he finally let go of the limitations that kept him bound to that experience, I was then cleared to be able to work on him. And you know what happened? His heart failure went away. His heart function returned. And all of that medically documented damage, irreversible damage that qualifies him for a heart transplant, that was somehow gone too. There was no evidence in his tests. His doctors don't know how the hell he did that. You know how that happened? He let go of the limitations. You know how he stayed alive for so long? He was given 3 days to 3 weeks to live. That was in August of 2020. 3 days to 3 weeks to live. How did he live so long? Through all of that, 7% heart function. Getting out of bed to go use the restroom was hard. Taxed him so much. How did we do that? Well, at first, I couldn't do anything. I wasn't allowed to interfere. He was in a very intense process of understanding his life up to that point. So, how did he stay alive until I was cleared to work on him? He refused to believe the doctors whenever they told him he's dying. He's like, I'm just slowly healing. Stop telling me I'm sick. I'm not sick. I'm in the process of healing. Thank God he's just as stubborn as my ass. Because, I mean, for a whole year, medical professionals telling you every day, you need to prep your family for when you die. It's like, I'm not dying, I'm healing. His blood pressure bottomed out. He should have died that day. It bottomed out. You don't recover from that. He had basically no blood pressure. And the following day, after that, the social worker came in. I was there with him. And she asked him, what does this tell you? That I'm being given another chance. Even I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You fucking almost died. He was so mad at me. I was just like, uh yeah, he's like, I have another chance to live. That's what that means. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to shut my mouth. What you believe in is what you will manifest. What you believe in is what you will manifest. You want to believe in limitations? You want to believe that you have the authority as a human being to supersede the will of soul. You don't have to bow to soul. Good luck with that shit. I tried. Quite a few years I tried. And you know what happened? Eventually my soul got sick of my own shit and dragged me through a riverbed by my hair. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hurts so good. You like pain? You masochistic? Keep fighting your soul. I promise you, it'll hurt so good for you. You don't like pain? You don't like suffering and struggle? Just bow. Bow. Develop the flexibility that's necessary to fully submit to the will of soul. To fully submit to the will of soul. Let yourself do it. Let yourself reach that point where all of your disbeliefs are acknowledged, but none of that even matters because your soul is showing you how far you can go, how much you can create. This is not something you're going to initiate. This is something you're just going to live through and experience. You will not understand what's happening because the foundation is being built. And if you don't know how houses are built, if you look at them creating the foundation, you're going to be like, what the fuck are they doing? Laying the foundation that the entire house will anchor itself into. That's what they're doing. This is the foundation that's being set for you. What you do with this period is up to you. It is absolutely up to you. Shadow self in reverse. There is nothing that should stay in the shadow aspects of you. All of your personal power should be allowed to come forward and be witnessed by you. Your potentiality should be lived by you every single day of your life, at least from this point forward. You should choose that. Why should you choose that? Because why the fuck not? You've chosen everything but that thus far. Are you happy? Are you happy? You've chosen every single possible option except living your potential every day. How do you feel about your life? Are you happy? Most people, no, you're not happy. Some people who say they're happy, okay, good lying, good lying. How do I know this? Well, because let's face it, when do you watch live streams on social media? When you want to distract yourself from the unhappiness that's happening around you. When do you watch card readings? When you feel lost, When you need answers because you're hurting so badly, you're so unhappy that you're seeking answers from whoever you could possibly get answers from. You can't give me that shit that you're happy. I don't watch live streams. Sometimes when I notice that my brain is like in overdrive and I'm trying to kind of just, okay, girl, stop hyperfixating on work stuff because, yeah, no, I'm a workaholic. Today's my day off, allegedly. Allegedly. It's my day off. I will be going live later this afternoon to do expedites. Whatever. So when my brain goes a little too fast, I try and slow it down by watching mindless content. When I don't want to listen to Michael or Marlene, I will go ahead and la 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 go on TikTok, senseless content. Yeah, because I don't want to deal with what I need to deal with. So even though I am happy, I'm very happy in my life right now. There will be periods where I don't want to deal with what I need to deal with, so I'll use social media to distract me. For the most part, I'm rarely on social media. I'm not very much interactive. I typically don't interact. Personal level, no. I don't really scroll much. Why? Because I'm just very satisfied in my life, right? It's not perfect by society's standards, but it's just so full of love and happiness. Like, I really love my children. I love being around them. I don't need a break from them. I crave being in their presence. I love them to the degree that even if they weren't my children, I would want to hang out with them. They're pretty fabulous. They're fabulous. I can't get enough of my husband. He's amazing. Like, there's really nothing in my life that I feel is lacking. There are aspects where I understand it's a process. It's in the middle of a process. And I just need to be patient and allow myself to witness how this process unfolds. But am I unhappy with it? No. Am I feeling impatient? Sometimes a little bit. I get impatient, like, come on, hurry up, because I'm about efficiency and it feels inefficient. But when I allow myself to see things from the perspective of soul, it's not inefficient if I haven't developed the level of maturity that's necessary to properly fulfill the parts of this journey that require me to have specific levels of maturity to fulfill. So, with that said, I'm exactly where I need to be, perfectly on time. It's all good. It is all good. So it's not me being limited by life. It's me understanding I'm working through the limits as they appear in my field of awareness. And therefore, I am right on time. I am releasing more and more of my subscriptions to limitations. It takes me needing to reach a place within myself where I can comply, right? These limitations, like, my husband, for quite some time since we have been going to the gym together, um, he was doing strictly cardio. He didn't want to lift any weights. He was doing strictly cardio. He felt very awkward about lifting weights. He didn't want to, and whatever else he said. And I kept telling him for months, like, dude, you would be so beastly if you just lift some weights. Fuck cardio. You're just tiring yourself out. And then he told me he felt awkward about lifting weights. And I was like, well, when you're ready, you will. And then one day he decided he was ready. And so he started lifting weights. And oh my God, this man. He's so beastly. It's crazy. He has such broad shoulders, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, he's very quickly becoming my silverback. Straight up gorilla proportions. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like today, um, he doesn't have puny ass legs. I hate that. I hate that when a man just does his upper half and then he has like sticks for legs. That's just obnoxious. So he doesn't have puny legs. Um, he went and did his workout and he lifted, if I remember right, I think over 108,000 pounds. And I was just like, I can't keep up with your ass because it used to be a competition, right? Because he would try and match me. And then he got over that limitation. I am not the end all be all of what he can accomplish. What I can accomplish for my frame is fabulous. He has a different type of frame than I do. He has different type of musculature than I do. So he is fucking far surpassed my ass. I was like, no, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. You go right ahead. I can't do that shit. I will die and injure myself. And that's the thing. When you continue to use other people who inspired you at some point as the benchmark for what you can achieve, I am a female and I have small boning. I can't lift that type of weight. I think today he was like, "Oh, I put 5 plates on each motherfucker. I don't give a shit about your 10 plates. I'm going to stick to my 4. I can't do that." Cuz I knew my knee was starting to feel funny. So I was like, "No, I'm not pushing that today." And that's the thing, it's like I'm not offended that he's surpassed me. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. He's exited his comfort zone of, only doing what he feels or what he thought he could do. And now he's like stacking plates on plates on plates. I'm just like, Mm. I'm not even ashamed. I check him out at the gym. I'm like, hey, hey. Yeah, I'm not even ashamed. You got to have compassion for yourself. You got to let yourself see how far you've come and stop with this whole thing of like, you're not where you need to be. No, you're not at the end zone. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. You're not at the end. Forget that visual. You're exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. Was your favorite movie Beauty and the Beast when you were a kid? No, I hate Disney movies. I do. I do. When I was a kid, I hated Disney stuff. I did love, like, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. I love scary movies. So I used to watch The Crypt Keeper quite a bit, Tales from the Crypt. And then I used to love watching Poltergeist, Amityville Horror. I'm saying, I used to love some crazy ass shit, Pumpkinhead, like really violent, graphic type movies. We had HBO, and so I would watch HBO all night as a little kid. I didn't like those cartoons. I didn't. I didn't like Disney. End zone is a moving target. Ooh, that's powerful. The end zone is a moving target. Mm. What happens between the barrel and the moving target will affect whether or not the projectile hits the target, right? If you don't understand the gravity of the path you're on. It could veer you off course. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Your soul knows exactly the trajectory you're on. It knows the proper speed, it knows the wind conditions, all of that. Your soul knows all of that. And if you just trust your soul instead of trying to continuously assert some type of dominance over your own freaking soul, I think the problem is that we fight ourselves too much. We fight ourselves far too much. We allow ourselves to get into this space of being in a pissing contest with soul. How many souls actually pee? I'm saying, does soul even pee? I don't think so. I don't think soul goes tinkle. I don't. So you're trying to get into a pissing contest with soul, but soul doesn't even pee. Yeah, that's obnoxious. That's obnoxious. You're upside down in your perception of how this earth journey goes, right? And if you're upside down in your perception, the way you see the people who mirror you will also be upside down. It'll be upside down. So then put it right side up. Ooh, someone's watching you. Speaking of, I totally need to go pee. I do though. So Michael is pointing out that someone is very closely observing you and you are actively ignoring it. What's new? What's new, pussycat? What's new, pussycat? Yeah, no, you're totally trying to blind yourself from seeing the things that need to be seen. That's fine. What? That's fine. I mean, my husband teases me. He says that I drive braille. What? Stop. Michael's saying all kind of stuff. Saying all kind of stuff. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. Why don't I care? Because you fucking say too much all the time. That's why. That's why. That's why. You say too much to me all the time. It's like white noise to me at this point. He he told me to tell you guys what I'm doing right now. I'm checking my credit. What? He keeps talking. I'm trying to drown him out. I just looked at pictures of kittens and now I'm checking my credit. What? Are you going to shut up yet? Anyways. You guys still, I mean, you don't have that kind of relationship with your guides? I do. That's a relationship I have with my guide. I check my credit when he starts talking too much. Because I feel like the bullshit of a credit score will negate the bullshit of what he's saying to me. So then it brings me, like, my logic is it brings me back to neutral because bullshit cancels out the bullshit and then I'm left neutral. He says my logic is flawed. Anyways. Okay. Soon there will be something to celebrate, and it has to do with communication. I don't know what's going to be communicated, but something's going to be communicated, and it's going to be something that causes a celebration to ensue, right? That communication will also spark some unconditional love. It will cause you to worry for a moment that the sacred journey is going upside down. But once you return back to a space of gratitude for the ways in which your soul provides you the experiences that are necessary, you will then understand what this means, free spirit in reverse. For many of us, for most of us, he says for most of us, our concept of being a free spirit is just completely confuzzled. Nos confundum. Confundum. Just so much confusion goes on because your perception of what you need and even your identity is greatly tied to the expectations, the assumptions of others, their assumptions about you. You need to step into this space of like Endarin dragon energy, this elder dragon type energy. Endarins are a lower thought form from the seraphim. Very, very sacred fire, sacred flame. But here's the thing, part of why I'm being told to share that with you is because you have this sacred fire, but your environment, your life thus far has taught you that fire is bad. Being fiery is bad. Why? When you can responsibly wield fire, there's nothing bad about it. However, if you're going to be childlike in your exploration of fire and you're going to set shit on fire for no fucking reason, failing to understand the burn rate of what you're setting on fire. I mean, yeah, arson much? Like, don't fuck around with things you don't understand. But here's the thing, if you take the time to understand yourself, that fire returns back to its holy state. And that's the very fire that burns the pathway through and allows for the manifestation to take form. There is a lot that you guys are not being told. There's a lot that you're not being told about the way your journey is supposed to unfold. There is a lot, a lot. You want to bring something to manifestation, but you don't even know what the pathways are to do that. And then on top of that, you don't know the mechanics of the ascension process. On top of that, you probably don't know about the meridians. And on top of that, you probably don't know about the energetic structures that no one talks about. Because why? Because no one was allowed to remember. Until, of course, my stubborn ass was like, no, I need that information for this life. I'm saying. How are you going to do what you don't know how to do? So, what's the solution? Learn. Learn everything you need to learn. Allow yourself to go through the process of retrieving your truth. That's the very fuel that you use to rise. Because once you receive your truth, once you retrieve it and allow yourself to receive it, you get real fucking mad. I'm not joking. You get real fucking mad, right? Actually, my voice went into dehydrated SpongeBob. You get real fucking mad. Okay, you do. You get real fucking mad. Why? Because you begin to realize how much bullshit you've allowed to continue. How much bullshit you've let other people force you to participate in. You get real fucking mad. Okay, give SpongeBob some water. Because he's bad. Okay. It was error in judgment that led to you betraying yourself. You rejected your galactic heritage, your power, your personal power. But there will be people who had connections with you in a previous life that will be allowed to come forward in order to trigger your ass again. La 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 la, trigger my ass into action. Mm, I'm saying, I'm saying. All right. Change and new dimensions in reverse. These two things are not going to occur until you allow yourself to receive. Receive what? The awareness of the truth of your journey. Oh my God, my bladder is full and the card fell. Hot diggity damn. This is just, I cannot. I can't. My bladder is too full to be doing that. So, really, though, everything is, I wouldn't say it's in limbo. I would say everything is kind of, Michael says stasis. I know what stasis means. I want the etymology. What are you trying to tell me? A period or state of inactivity or equilibrium. Civil strife. No, please don't start that shit. Please don't start. It was kind of a stoppage of flow of a body fluid. Okay. Stasis. Standing stoppage. A state of static balance or equilibrium. Stagnation, a state or period of stability during which little or no evolutionary change in a lineage occurs. So we've been in stasis for quite a few thousands of years. We've been in a state of stasis. We're going to just break down some information, okay? This is the 1 hour, 22 minute, 44 second mark. 1 hour, 22 minute, 44 second mark. So, stasis. We've been in a state of stasis since unnatural seals were installed into the planetary grid. These unnatural seals were installed into the planetary grid in order to affect our personal microgrid, our personal morphogenetic template. Due to the laws of reciprocal reflection, what occurred within the planetary grid was then eventually reflected within our personal microgrids. So, stasis, a state of stagnation. It was done in order to stabilize the attempts to harvest energy. They tell us everything in the movies. You just got to know which ones to watch and exactly how to interpret what they're saying. We are living battery packs. So when we drain some of our battery, what happens? Solar consciousness is allowed to filter in to recharge us. So we've been in a state of stasis. A correction is about to occur, a massive correction. The solar consciousness is returning, right? That's the key to the unleashing of the power, the energy. Awaken Gnosis 45. 4 is the number of self, 5 is the number of change. We are being allowed to awaken Gnosis in order to bring ourselves to the point of change so that we can return back to our state of godliness. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 being the number of God itself. The receiving sigil, card number 41, allowing yourself to receive by way of shifting 1 degree at a time, right? If the opening to your cup is sideways, how will creation drop into it? The very thing that you need. You need to be rotated slowly. First this way, so you empty out your cup and all of that toxicity is removed. When you allow toxicity to remain inside the cup and you fill it more, all you're doing is diluting the toxicity. It's still toxic. So it needs to be allowed to continue to turn, to fully empty the cup. And then once it reaches a certain point of alignment, the cup will be filled. It will be filled with knowledge. The key to awakening your gnosis is receiving the knowledge that can then be integrated and applied as wisdom. Gnosis is wisdom, knowledge applied. When you apply the wisdom, you enter into a state of active co-creation. How? Why? Because wisdom is Sophia. Sophia is wisdom. Be careful of what you watch on social media. The attempt to infiltrate is now underway. So they've done this several cycles that I've personally witnessed since my adulthood in this life. So first, information was being shared by way of truthers, people who seek truth and information. They infiltrated that and corrupted it. Now it's like, just bullshit. They infiltrated that. And then came spirituality, because when you connect and allow yourself to receive directly from soul, the purity of that message, that download, can empower you to the degree that it creates ripples of change through the entirety of your existence. Once that was able to be established and enough began to be interested in that, they went ahead and corrupted that as well. They infiltrated it. And then came the interpretations of esoterica, bullshit again. And now that people are starting to steer away from spirituality because too much bullshit, too much parasitic infiltration and infestation. I mean, where are we getting much of our undiluted information from at this point? So they're not telling us on the news. We're getting it from social media, specifically in short form videos. And you will begin to see that path of communication has also begun to be infiltrated. What's the only thing left to do? Connect with soul in whatever way soul chooses to connect with you. A metamorphosis will occur. Yep. All right. So this metamorphosis will occur. There is a bonded pair. One has already escaped that chrysalis. It's been drying its wings out and preparing for flight. The other one is drying the chrysalis in order to be able to exit out of it. There's an awakening that's occurring. This awakening will cause you to travel through the spaces of yourself that you do not accept. You're going to need to go through that process of acceptance by first observing what it is you don't know about yourself yet. When you allow yourself to become aware of what it is you don't know about yourself, you become aware of the ways in which you still participate in a duality. You cannot create a whole being if you exist in a dualistic state. You will find that as you exit out of that space of duality by first observing and acknowledging the state you exist in, you will then begin to enter into a state of totality. As you enter into a state of totality, your ability to manifest, to push into manifestation the very things that are necessary for you to tap into your destiny, your divine destined path, that will really accelerate. It will become so much more efficient, so much more efficient. To reach that level of efficiency, the separation needs to be corrected. 4 is a number of self. 7 is a number of completion. You are complete within yourself. You don't necessarily need another person to complete you, to make you whole. What you do need to recognize is that some people were tasked to hold the information that you need in this life for you. And that until you reach a certain level of maturity to allow that person back in or into your life in the first place, you will not receive that information that's necessary, that realization, that moment of self awareness, self actualization. This is the path of the twins. It was never about romance. It wasn't meant to be romance. And I've said before, the twins that have romance within their potential are the pairs who have learning disabilities. I'm not trying to be derogatory, inflammatory, offensive. It's factual. These are the pairs who struggle to learn alone. And so they need the constant presence of their counterpart in order to learn. They need to be consistently triggered through that person's presence. And that's why they're in romantic relationships. The ones that are rapid learners, those who are efficient in the procuring of information, the assessment and integration of that, if they are efficient with it, if they are very pronounced in that capacity, they don't need to be in a romantic relationship. They don't even need to be in proximity with each other. But at some point, whatever this separation is, it's going to need to be allowed to be corrected. 4 plus 7 is a realization of the first steps. So 10-10 is the realization you need to go on a journey. 11-11 is a realization of the first steps. 12-12 is the first steps actually being taken. So card number 47, 4 plus 7 is 11. The realizations of the steps you need to take. Steps for what? I don't know. But you're going to need to be integrating quite a bit of information. There's going to be one, maybe more individuals who will return back into your life in order to facilitate this process. How long they stay in your life, that's not known. I don't know how long. It really depends on your capacity to be able to learn and work together. How reactive are you? Oh, I didn't know. He was asking me, how reactive am I? Fuck if I know. I don't know. How reactive? It depends. What did the person do? Um, I don't know. When people remain respectful, I'm not reactive at all. I mean, you can completely disagree with me. Um, and I won't have any problem with it. I'm very open to hearing differing viewpoints because that's the best way to learn. Um, what kind of question is that even? You make me very reactive. I'm very reactive to you. I'm very reactive to you. You irritate me. He's laughing. Because you do. You irritate me. You're annoying. Why are you annoying? Because you are. The way you breathe is annoying. um he says, do you not think your logic is flawed right now? No. Angelics don't breathe. They don't breathe. Why? The way you breathe irritates me. The way you don't breathe irritates me. It's just nothing but silence. I know, I'm very cold-blooded to Michael. He likes it. I'm crazy, but you like that. That's the song. I bite back. Uh, you have an issue with my aggressive nature? You like it. Michael likes me aggressive. My husband likes me aggressive too. I'm aggressive in a good way. What? It's cute, remember? It's cute when small person is aggressive, remember? No, it's not. I be telling people like, "I will fuck you up," and they're like, "Oh my god, she's so adorable." I just fucking threatened you. People don't be taking me seriously. Anyways. Okay, card number 14. Ahem. Let love transform. The spring of love arrives to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of soul to fly. The sea becomes filled with pearls. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby, and the body becomes all soul. This is about entering into a totality. Having experienced one extreme positioning on that pole, that plane of existence, and then being able to rotate and experience the opposing pole, that will give you your, perception of where center is. That will give you a very clear understanding of where center is. Love is my medicine, intelligent medicine. It takes death and makes it a passageway into greater life. What genius is this? A genius that will render anything and everything as a pathway to life. I have found a bench upon which we may be seated. Nay, not a bench, a love seat. It's carved of precious ruby. It sits under the gentle shade of an ancient tree that thrives in love's garden. Come sit with me, beloved, as we let the whispers of the great beloved penetrate our hallowed ears, carried upon the sweet afternoon breeze. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. Even if we are deaf to the beloved's tender whispers, we shall not be blind. We shall be captured by the vivid display of the beloved's artistry and be transported into peace. Ooh. This oracle comes to you as a living spiritual gift. Whether you realize it or not, you have triumphed. You have blossomed, succeeded, cast aside that which was unworthy, and taken up love's way. How much delight is there from all those that walk this way of love, of life, to find another precious companion in their midst. You are welcomed into this world where love finds a way. There is nothing impossible for love. It's not bound by the mind, and because of this, all manner of miraculous grace works through it in endless creative variety. The great beloved is a show off, creating with such genius as to be breathtaking. Were we able to remain always in the heart, we would be constantly breathless in a fit of appreciation and awe so great. Truly, there would not be even a slither of emptiness through which fear could enter. What does this mean? It means an avenue for divine fulfillment has been found. See what I'm saying? Soul is seeking out the avenues for divine fulfillment. You're over here thinking all the ways are blocked, and soul's like, just sit tight. Sit tight. It means an avenue for divine fulfillment has been found. You are being given the power for spiritual success. Your heart's yearning shall manifest itself, but you must comply according to the law of love. What does that mean exactly? Do not attach yourself to the form that your resolution and success shall take. This goes right back to the beginning part of this live stream, where how can you be in compliance and not be at the same time? Like, do not attach yourself to the form that your resolution and success shall take. Why would we seek to limit love's creative genius thus? No, instead, Trust that it will be magnificent, perfection, literally the work of great genius. Detach yourself from expectations of timing. The harvest will be at the best time when the ripeness is just right, so utterly juicy and sweet. You shall know with certainty that this was the best way. Not a moment sooner would have been perfect, nor a moment later. Absolute trust is the best way to adhere to the law of love. This gives you rather some energy to spare, perhaps that might have otherwise been engaged in perpetuating worry or doubt. Well, I am so happy to see that you are twiddling your divine thumbs and wondering if you are not going to worry. If you're just going to surrender and trust, then what exactly will you do with yourself? Well, of course, you can just live your life, but perhaps you may want to dance barefoot and wild with me upon the cool sand at midnight under the fullness of the harvest moon. You're being given the opportunity to allow life to unfold in the way it's designed to unfold. That takes minimum effort. If you are a divine flower in the garden of God, you cannot rush the way the flower grows. You cannot force a blossom to grow. You can simply provide all the necessary components and allow the plant to do what it does. And plants put no effort in what they do. They just do. They just are. So, what's your soul telling you? Stop being such a control freak. You don't know where you're supposed to go. You don't know what you're supposed to do. You don't know who you're supposed to be there with. So, why control things you don't understand? That's like, that's like taking a biology class for the first time in college and trying to dictate to the professor who has taught this class their entire fucking life how the syllabus should go, what should be taught, the way it should be taught. That's obnoxious. That's obnoxious. Are you being obnoxious with yourself? Have you been being obnoxious with yourself? Have you continued to allow your ego to be in full control of something the ego does not have the capacity to understand, does not have the capacity to lead you through? So you let soul lead you. You let soul make the decisions. You allow yourself to go through whatever process you need to go through to be compliant with your soul. No one else. You don't need to comply with anyone else except your soul. Not your partner, not your parent, not nobody. Just your soul. So, will I be compliant with other people? It depends. What am I feeling that day? What am I feeling towards you? If I feel some kind of way, no, I will not be compliant. I don't give a shit. I'm not joking. I won't comply. You want to force me? I don't care. I'm not a kid. I'm not a kid. I'm in my 40s. You're not going to fucking force me to do shit. The only thing I wish is that I learned that sooner than when I turned 40. I wish I knew that in my 20s. I wish I knew that in my teens. I wish. Yeah, no. I don't wish any of that. I learned it in perfect time. I learned it in perfect time, and I need to be patient with my process. So, the only thing I wish for when I allow myself the time to take a deep breath and center myself within my truth and my understanding of it, the only thing I wish for is to be more flexible so I can more readily bend to the will of soul. My soul knows what I need. My soul knows what I need. And everything happens in perfect measure, 100% at 223. An ugly chapter is about to close. I know for me personally, I'm hoping also for you. An ugly chapter is about to close. A book is about to be slammed shut. How do I know this? Because my heart tells me. Something is about to be allowed to close. A resolution is in the process of being applied. And that resolution, it will push into the manifestation template, the very events that you've been waiting for. You're being given small indications. There are certain things that keep popping in my head. There are certain progressions for my church, my nonprofit, for my team. There are certain progressions that I'm seeing, that I'm witnessing, that's telling me one of the ugliest chapters that I've had to, I guess, endure because I didn't want to do anything about it before, is coming to a quick conclusion, a favorable one. How will it end, Emmy? With me smiling. Well, what do you mean? That however way my soul chooses for it to end will lead to my satisfaction and happiness, because I really have no expectations as the way it will play out. I just know it will be favorable to me and my community. And that's all I need to know. I trust soul. I trust soul to the degree that I don't need to control, I don't need to force, I don't need to worry. Yes, there will be times where I get impatient, but as my impatience grows, my soul sends messages, affirmations, confirmations that everything is happening in perfect time and perfect measure. You see, there are things that happen that would cause you to be like, why does this have to happen? Well, you asked for a specific outcome. And in order for that outcome to occur, you know what needs to happen? Exactly what's happening right now. Durr. Exactly what's happening right now. And so everything is being structured in such a way to lead your life exactly where it needs to go. Something beautiful is coming. I'm open to whatever that is. Something very, very beautiful, some type of potentiality. And, for some of you, it might require the presence of a specific individual that maybe you had already, resolved to never interact with, resolved to, I don't know. I can't think like other people, but no, your soul knows what's best. And if you find someone in your midst that you never thought you would interact with again, um, there's something precious that's happening. They are delivering to you some type of confirmation, or helping you through a process you didn't realize you need help through, right? So let it flow with it. Flow with it with no expectations as to how it will play out, and no attempts to try and control. Um, Trust yourself to have already learned boundaries, how to communicate your needs and your boundaries, all of that. You're not giving yourself the credit you need. You're not giving yourself the credit you've already earned. You've done a lot of work in this time. And the work that you've done has greatly assisted in your growth, has greatly assisted in the further development of your understanding of yourself, your capacity, your capability, all of that. Go with the flow. Flow with it. I promise. I promise. Your soul is trying to bring you something so profound. So profound. It might be delivered by a person, but the person is not what your soul is. It's not the end all be all of what your soul is trying to do. I think for some of us, only specific people can deliver specific things, right? Like the things that I've learned about love and self healing, I am absolutely certain there is no one else in this world that could have helped me to learn that outside of my husband. There's literally no one else that could have helped me to learn that, because he is the only person that can love me so wholeheartedly and unconditionally and not shame me for being who I am and the processes that I go through, and hold a space so powerfully that I no longer am in this place of reactive fear. Oh shit. That was the question. Do you still live in that space of reactive fear? Because he was like, how reactive are you? I'm not. Wow, chills. Like, I'm not. Not anymore. So now, with that realization, I can free myself to experience certain things, certain processes, without that fear of how will I react? How will that play out? Like, it will play out in the way it's meant to. What you just witnessed is a realization of my growth. That's profound. So there's no need for some of those fears that you have. If you've done the work and you've grown and you're finally at a place where you're no longer just going to react because you're afraid of, I don't know. Yeah. Wow. I think you're ready. You're ready for the next part. The part where all your dreams come true. The part where you fully step into the purpose that was designed just for you to fulfill. Things are going to accelerate. They're going to speed you towards this destined space, a space created just for you to exist within. Don't interfere with your process. Just do it. Stay in compliance. Just do it. Just flow with it. You can handle it. You can handle it. You might wonder if you can. You can. Regardless of how it plays out, you can. You can and you will. You will, because that's how you were designed. You were designed to be able to handle that specifically, whatever it is you're afraid of, whatever it is you're like, oh my gosh, but no, is she talking about what I think she's talking about? Yes, I am. I'm talking about that very thing you're afraid I'm talking about. You can handle it. You will handle it. You've been handling it. So let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. All right, guys, I gotta go. My bladder's full. I'll be live later today to do some expedites, just basic stuff. I don't remember. I'll be live today. 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will do expedites. Just look for it on this channel. I can't think right now. I really need to go. And don't forget, by this evening, by tonight, I'm going to cut off your ability to join me for the Abundance Amplifier Healing Meditation. If you want to be part of that, you need to get your ticket already, okay? It's going to be open until this evening, and then it's going to be closed. So for those of you who are joining me for that, look for an email tonight, by tonight, that gives you access to that part of my website. It's going to be on emmyevolving.com. In the email, it'll have all the instructions and the links of how to sign up and all of that. Okay. So I will see you guys again later this evening for readings, scans, Emmy evals, maybe some past life readings. We'll see. Y'all be traumatizing me with your past lives. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm a bit sensitive today. So who knows? I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I love you guys. Bye, everyone.